The only way you can have change to get people into the streets is when they lose faith in the system. And we have to get them, we have to disabuse them of the idea that there is somebody fighting for them in this system, and there isn't.
So I was going to ask you, what's the solution? You just said the solution is to get people to lose faith in the system. A part of it, and get in the streets to lose faith in the system. Okay, so let's just say, let's play that. Let's say that happens. Okay, let's say somehow, some way, AOC and Bernie Sanders listen to this and they have a change of heart, and they say, Jimmy, you're right. And they tweet out on Twitter today and they say, Jimmy's right. Okay? Let's take it on the streets and let's go everywhere and let's protest against this. Fantastic. Then what?
That's how things change. That's how we got civil rights.
What should change?
That's how women got the right to vote.
What should change?
We get money out of politics is the first thing. We got to get money out of politics. And so it's I would recommend public financing of our elections, and we shorten our election season. There's a million things you could do that way, but definitely get money out of politics.
You want to have election campaign finance reform,
right?
That's number one on your list.
That'll never change.
That would be so. That's what I mean. Until we shut stuff down. I mean, the truckers showed that you could bring them to their needs.
Yep.
And
in Canada.
Yeah. And so, of course, people in the United States, they listen to the corporate media. They call those people Nazis when they're actually freedom fighters, and they were right. They weren't fighting against medicine. The truckers were vaccinated at a higher rate than the general population in Canada. They were fighting against authoritarianism, and they were right. And America look at those truckers, and they call them Nazis, and they look at Nazis in Ukraine, and they call them freedom fighters. That's how messed up our corporate media is.
Jimmy, so let's go with that.
I'll tell you one more thing.
I want you to keep going, though. Give me more. That was a very good point, but keep going.
So what happened in Staten Island at the Amazon warehouse, Christian Smalls is a black guy who got fired, and then he decided to organize a union. And he organized along class lines. So a lot of people on the left in the Democratic Party said we have to organize along class lines. They don't mean it. Because what organizing along class lines means is you're going to organize with Trumpers. You're going to organize because you're in the same class, and that's exactly what Christian Smalls did on Staten Island. You know, Staten Island is a bunch of Trump voters, and so he went and organized those people because they have a common interest, and they have a common enemy, and that is the establishment and the oligarchy. And you put down your differences politically, and you join together on a class basis, and that's how you make change. And so we need more of that. We need more people coming together, unless the left and the right realize that we do have common interests, which we do. We all want to stop the war machine. We all want to stop this authoritarianism around COVID. We all want to stop a lot of things, right? So if we could come together and realize we're being screwed because our government is 100% corrupt, then maybe we could get something done. I had a Boogaloo Boy on my show. Now, a lot of people conflate Boogaloo Boys with Proud Boys, but they're not. Boogaloo Boys are a response to the Proud Boys. Boogaloo Boys were pro-LGBTQ. They were pro-Black Lives Matter. They're anti-war, they were anti-Trump, and they were anti-cop. So I'm like, oh my God, we agree on a lot of things. I didn't know that. Well, they can't. So the establishment, the Democratic Party, they did a smear campaign against me. They still do it to this day, just because I interviewed a Boogaloo Boy on my show. I didn't hire him. I didn't go. We just had an interview, just like you're interviewing me. That doesn't mean you're validating what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You're just interviewing me. Same thing. So that's how, and that is the thing that scares them. If the left and the right organize on class lines, that is the thing that will really scare them. We're doing an anti-war rally on the 19th, this Sunday, at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and we got people from the left, we got people from the right, we got people from the center, we got all kinds of people to oppose war. That's what gives it its power. If it was just a bunch of progressive lefties, it wouldn't have any power. But the fact that there's Ron Paul's going to be there. He's going to be speaking. So that's a big deal. And Tulsi Gabbard's going to be there. And
you're getting Ron Paul out of Houston?
Yeah, he never leaves Texas. This is a big deal that he's going to be there. So anyway, we have to do more things like that. That's the only way to take back our government, is to get in the streets, shut stuff down. And then, in France, they're going to try to raise the retirement age from 61 to 63. They're raising it in the United States to 67. They already have Medicare for all. They already have dental. They have retirement Social Security, and they still get in the streets and shut shit down all the time. And I don't know if you've ever been when we were in Italy, it was like, oh, the trains aren't going to be running today. There's going to be a strike. They do it all the time.
Let's bring back Mussolini.
In the rest of the world, the left is connected to the working class, except in the United States. The Democratic Party is a bunch of their core constituency are suburban white people. They admitted it. Chuck Schumer said, they go, hey, when Hillary was running against Donald Trump, they were saying, hey, Donald Trump's picking up blue collar voters, and he said, doesn't matter. For every blue collar voter we lose, we're going to pick up 2 or 3 white collar suburban voters, and you can repeat that in Ohio and Wisconsin. He said that. I played on my show all the time. Of course, he was wrong. They lost. And so they don't care about the blue-collar voters. They don't care about the workers. That's not their constituency anymore.
That used to be their MO.
That's why there's nobody representing them anymore. That's why that's what gave Donald Trump his power, because he spoke to those people.
Jimmy, who's anti-establishment today? On the left or the right? Who's anti-establishment today? Left, right, middle, libertarian? Who are some of the names? Ron Paul being one of them. Who else would you say?
I don't have any faith in any of the politicians right now. There's a woman in Seattle, Shama Sawant. She had to fight the Democratic mayor and the Democratic city councils to get a $15 minimum wage. She has to fight the Democrats to get stuff. The Democrats and the Republicans serve the same people. They have the same neoliberal corporate interests. And so I don't know anybody in politics that I would really go well in for. I used to like Ro Khanna. I used to like AOC. I used to like all those, Bernie Sanders, but none of them will stand up for what they claim to stand for, and they all roll over for the establishment. They all voted for war.
But Jimmy, okay, so let's say not politics. Who outside of politics? Because you need some of the guys that are from the outside to get in the inside.
I like people like Chris Hedges. I like Dennis Kucinich is out of politics, right? They gerrymandered him out, right? The Democrats are like, F you, you're too much of a progressive, and they got rid of him, and then he's done. So I like people like Chris Hedges. I like people like Dennis Kucinich. I loved the way Tulsi stood up against the war machine in Syria. Unfortunately, she's still for the drone program, but so what? She's better than everybody else when it comes to Syria. And that's why people don't realize why they hated Tulsi so much, is because she stepped down from being the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee to endorse Bernie Sanders.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.